Hello, and welcome to Learning for Wins, a podcast designed to help you learn all about American football. I'm Craig Havens, and with me is Jonathan Almanzar. All right, here we are again. We're going to talk this
Every time we do this and I see this little L4W thing over here, I just want to
stand up and
take a moment and
you can
place my hand
You're
over
more than
my
welcome
heart
to.
and do a little Stars and Stripes. Or sing the national anthem. Maybe we could bring somebody in to sing the national anthem for us.
We should.
But then would we get sued by Francis Scott Key's family for singing the
quite
national
possibly.
anthem?
That happens here a lot. So right now, we did a whole hour on
The
AFC teams. We're about to talk about the NFC teams, which I feel like we have to try and bring ourselves back a little bit because we get kind of talkative about these teams because, we hate them, most of them. So
Correct.
we're going to work on that. And
Plus, and we're trying to present a way for people to choose their favorite team.
Correct.
We're actually creating a what do you call it?
fan base?
No, the thing that you go in and pick your teams.
Oh, the matrix. Yes,
The matrix
we're
to
doing a
pick your
team matrix
team
to
matrix.
help people pick.
The only problem is we're football people, not
Techie people.
tech nerds. So we're trying. It's going to take a little bit of time for us to get so you can go in and you can choose. It's going to be a multiple choice thing, and then it'll pop out what team you should root for. So in this, we're trying to do something similar in giving people the opportunity to choose their team. So. But I can't help but be biased and heated when we're talking about teams. And so maybe your hatred for me could be the way, not your hatred for me,
I
but
have
I'm
hatred
just
for
saying
you anyways,
in
but
general, the people's hatred for me could be a way that they select a team.
That is true. That is true. No, I'm with you, though, because I have that same anger. We've talked about it in other podcasts where we talk about which team we hate the most, and we just can't stop. Yeah. We just keep going. But,
and my kids may find their favorite team based on my hatred for that team and be like, oh, my dad hates that team? That's
I'm
my
in.
team. That's
And,
my team.
we've talked to people who have had that problem where their dad liked somebody, so they chose the other team to cheer for. All right. So let's start out with we've talked about conferences, so we're gonna start out with. Do we want to start out with the East because that's where our favorite exists?
So
I think we finished there.
I think we finished there, but I also think that we should do a draft where you pick the conference again. I got to choose the conference first last time, so I'll allow you to choose the conference first.
I will do the NFC North.
Okay, the black and blue division.
The black and blue division. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you pick the team first.
Okay, quite possibly one of the worst divisions in football right now.
Yeah.
The NFC North.
I don't know. There's
one of.
This is up for debate.
I know. There's two South divisions and one North division,
Yes.
and those three divisions are terrible. So I'm going to pick a team that I'm coming around on a little bit right now, and that would be the Detroit Lions.
You almost have to,
Yeah.
even though they're a team that
Historically
used to win. But they used to win before the merger, and then once they merged, they're like, we don't want to do that anymore.
So
I'm out.
I have this rule that I'm going to make right now.
Okay.
On no before the merger stuff.
No before the merger.
Who cares about before the merger? It was barely on television.
It was before our birth.
Yeah. It was, who cares about anything that happened before the merger?
Merger. I'm in.
Okay.
All right.
So the
No
Detroit
more
Lions,
merging.
they had Barry Sanders, the greatest running back of all time.
And they had.
Will you argue with me on that?
No,
or
I'm
you
not.
Good? Okay,
No,
Barry
I'm good.
Sanders.
Yep.
And really, real quick, if you're a new
the
fan
guy
of the
had
NFL,
no line to run against. Go ahead.
if you're a new
Run
fan of
behind.
the NFL, just type in Barry Sanders highlights.
I don't
You'll
even
be
think you
blown
have
away.
to type that in. I think you just write Barry, and it's the first person that comes up.
His running was in early '90s, incredible. He's small. No one could touch him.
He had nobody blocking in front of
No
him.
one.
That was the insane thing about it. He had no quarterback, so people knew that this team was going to run.
It was literally like the NFL said, we're penalizing you, Lions, because you drafted this guy. You can't play with offensive linemen. You can only put wide receivers in your offensive lineman positions. He would have to break 5 tackles before he got to the line of scrimmage.
And they are good at drafting wide receivers. No, they're not. But they did have one of the best wide receivers.
They drafted wide receivers in the first round all the time, and then they got this guy named.
Yes.
But another interesting thing about the Lions, their two greatest players in their history, I will say Barry Sanders 1, Megatron 2.
Yep, I agree. That's why I brought up wide receivers.
Both of them quit.
Yes,
in their prime.
Before they were due to quit. Yep.
Both of them were like, I
can't do it.
I got to go.
That is your highlight, though, in life, is playing for the Detroit Lions. And, like, you got to look at that and be like, you know what? This is as good as it gets. Because you don't know. It's like it's like if you grew up in one area and lived there your whole life and you're like, this is the best place. You've never been anywhere else. So you think this is utopia. So now you're like, where else am I going to go? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I hate going into work.
Even inside of Detroit, like 3 million people moved out of Detroit.
Yeah. Well, the water is so good there.
So I think if you are a you would be a Detroit Lions fan if you like
desperate.
The worst two combinations, like blue and gray is a good combination, but somehow theirs doesn't work.
No, because it's the wrong color blue with the wrong color gray. Yeah, and it's mixed with just white subtly in there.
And they're almost matte, but they're not.
And their lion just doesn't look like he looks like he's running away. Yeah. He looks like he's leaving Detroit. And by the way, there is not a lion in Detroit.
Yeah, there's no lions in Detroit. But the blue and gray is like it's almost a matte finish, but it's not matte, but it's not. I just don't understand it.
But that's the other thing. Like their logo kills me because a lion. I don't want to face a lion, but that lion is running away.
High five.
He's leaving.
Yeah,
he's going away. Give me the lion's face. Give me a lion roaring. Give me something better than what I get there.
It's almost like it was watercolor blue and watercolor gray.
Exactly. A great idea on paper, but poorly drawn. Yeah. It's like I draw stick figures.
They're starting to turn around a little bit now.
Yes.
They may actually have a good team this year.
They've got a good coach. And the coach makes a big difference.
A good coach.
Yep.
A below average quarterback.
Yep.
Some above average players
somehow
in some
making
places.
it where he didn't make it before.
He didn't know the sun rises in the east.
Right. Well, I mean, come on. Does it always rise in the east? I mean,
I guess not if you live on the West Coast, but because that's where he was at.
I know. Yeah,
that's what he was saying. But and he's got a terrible name. Jared Goff is a terrible name for a quarterback. I think Jared.
They didn't know how to spell golf, and they didn't realize. Are you going to play golf tonight?
Yeah. Or they're like, that's a giant golf over there. Oh, that'd be a cool name, Jared Goff.
The Golf of Mexico.
The Golf of Mexico. But Jared, I just don't feel like a guy named Jared.
It makes you
lead.
think of Subway, and it makes you just.
Yeah, but I just don't think that's a name that could lead a team. Jared.
I agree. Yeah. Yep.
So I think if you might be a Detroit Lions fan if you like having one good player, the best player at his position every once in a while.
I think you're a Detroit Lions fan if you like to start a project, get it going, and then walk away.
That's me. That's my life. But
you should be a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah, I guess I should. But and also if you like if you color, you need to be.
I did say you had to be good at it though.
Right.
Just so you know.
That's true.
So yeah.
You do kind of have to be colorblind. You have to like watching teams play indoor, which is awful.
Yeah.
And if you like a coach that gives really good sound bites, because he gives good sound bites.
He does, yes.
We're going to knock them down. We're going to bite their kneecaps. We're going to take their kneecaps off. We're going to kill them.
Still sounds like an old 70s coach, but not allowed to actually say it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't been penalized for it. But okay. So Detroit, that's your one?
Yeah.
And
you go for it.
Wait,
no,
I thought it was a snake.
Yeah, but the snake starts
the snake
with the 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, that is true. So, all right. So, where am I going to go after Detroit Lions? There's really not much exciting out there. Let's go with the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the Green Bay Packers because I'm not a fan of any of their history.
But they have history.
They have history, and let's go back before the merger when they wore those ugly colors, those ugly Acme uniforms.
Their colors are ugly now.
They're a team that is owned by the people, which is the only team that is that way. They're owned by stock.
Allegedly, yeah.
And run, I think, poorly. They have an okay history. I mean, they've got some neat. I mean, Lombardi.
Okay history.
No, they have a great history, but
the Super Bowl trophy's named after one of their coaches.
I understand that, but how many Super Bowls do they have?
2, 3.
Okay, so why didn't we name it after Chuck Noll? I mean, I'm just saying, it's not. What's thrilling about the Green Bay Packers? Brett Favre wearing Wranglers?
The Lambeau Leap.
The Lambeau Leap. Okay, you got that. No, that's that
half-footed dude who booted the field goal.
I don't know that.
You're
calling a kicker exciting.
Wasn't he for the Saints?
Probably,
anyway?
But you're really going to call a kicker exciting? I don't even know who you are right now.
Exciting.
Yeah, okay.
Their current kicker that just lost his job.
So,
Aaron Rodgers.
I don't like him at all.
And
he's not even their quarterback anymore. It was exciting that he left.
Exciting, yeah, he's at the Jets now.
Yes, he is. All right, so Green Bay Packers, they're a team that I think should be better than what they are. I think they're a team that is underachieving everything. I think that this is a team where, again, it's you're supposed to be like Aaron Rodgers is not the second best quarterback in NFL history.
They have the two best non-best quarterbacks.
Yes, exactly that.
Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, the two best quarterbacks.
Non-best quarterbacks.
Non-best
You're right.
quarterbacks.
Exactly. That is exactly what I was trying to describe. That is the perfect wording for it. They're just a team that you want, like everybody around them wants that person to be better, but they're not. But you still want it so bad that you imagine it to be true.
Right.
So if you believe in like Santa Claus still,
okay.
If you believe in
That's
like
good,
the Easter Bunny,
that's good.
Like,
both those
these are things
small
that,
town charm.
Small town charm, yes.
If you love watching Hallmark movies,
yes,
yeah,
exactly, yes.
Green Bay's your
That's
team.
your team, yeah. And if you also think
Like
that
cheese.
you can buy a stock of theirs and be an NFL owner,
Yeah.
and believe that you make a difference, then yes, this is your team.
Yeah, because you can buy stock in the
Also,
team.
if you like cheese,
yes,
and you
for
like
sure.
wearing a wedge on your head, which is just weird and then not
Why
intimidating
is it
at all.
yellow with holes in it like Swiss cheese, but it's not Swiss cheese because it's yellow?
I never actually thought about that until just now. Thank you. You've just ruined the whole thing for me.
I'm just like, where did you get that cheese from? A cartoon?
You would think they'd be experts at cheese too, right?
You would think, yeah. So one time I was real quick, I have this funny story to tell you. I was at this bar near us, or not a bar, an Italian restaurant.
Yep.
And they brought out the bread and then some olive oil. And these people were like, no butter? And they were like, no, we use olive oil and that kind of stuff. And he's like, that's all right. She brought some. And so his wife opens her purse and she had some butter in her purse. And I said, are you guys from Wisconsin? And they go, no, Missouri. And I said, they go, why? And I said, because you brought your own butter. And they go, it's cheese, not butter. And I said, that is? And they said, no, Wisconsin is about cheese, not butter. Super angry at me. And I was like, well, I was just making a dairy joke. Who brings butter?
I don't know why anyone would put butter in their purse.
And why do you come to an Italian place and be like, no butter? Well, good. I got some in my purse.
Because Italy is known for its butter. And that's maybe what you should have said. I forgot that Italy is
the place
so
for
famous for butter. Yeah. Yes, not olive oil.
No, Wisconsin
Nothing
and
in Europe is olive oil,
cheese.
right?
Oh, man. But I have another thing to say that I just thought of with these Packer colors.
Okay.
Because that green and yellow is awful. Like, it is clashy. It is awful.
It's the ugliest green.
And the ugliest yellow. Like they were the ugliest blue and the ugliest gold. And when we get to Chicago Bears, it's going to be the ugliest red-orange
really
thing and the ugliest black-blue. I think it's because they're
black,
so
it's
old.
not blue, but everybody calls it blue. It's not.
It's so old.
Yes.
I think that they're old colors.
You know what? Maybe we didn't catch up with that. What was that color? The Technicolor? Maybe Technicolor never got to them, and they're still playing in black and white, and someone's craning it in with their old crayons. It's the old 8-color crayon box.
Yeah. It's before, like, new colors happened. It's the old color versions.
Yeah. The whole division. I mean,
because you're like, I bet it's so hard for them to find anything in their colors now. Like they probably own their colors.
So I'm just gonna say it. The color scheme. If you're into colors and you're into this division and you want to be an NFC North fan,
you got to go.
You've got to go with Minnesota because they're the only colors that are actually decent,
modern colors,
real colors, right? Yeah. Otherwise, they just kind of mixed them together, like.
That's what it looks like. Somebody tried to create their own blue,
right?
And they're like, we're never going to get this again. We're screwed.
What's the color code for that? I have no idea. My kid took indigo and black and mixed them together, and we got that orange.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
So I'm stuck with. Oh no, you're third. You get the third pick.
Oh, I'm gonna go with. This is a team that I do like that you hate, but I do like Minnesota Vikings.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I know it.
They have the most average quarterback in the world ever in the history of the NFL. This guy is average.
In everything, not just at quarterbacking.
He is exactly the definition of your average.
If you ran into him in life, you'd be like, that's just an average Joe. Like,
hey, how are you? He would be bagging
Smith.
groceries. Yes, exactly. He would be bagging groceries at the grocery store.
I think he'd have a little better job than that. Like,
well,
no
maybe.
offense to grocery baggers. I think, though, I could see him as like your guy you take your taxes to.
He could be the manager at the CVS down the road. Yes.
He's just average.
He's Joe Average. Yeah, he is. He is. But he seems like a good guy.
Averagely good.
You're not like, man, I don't trust that guy.
No, because
you
he's
trust
average.
him completely, right? He's like, hey, would you mind watching my kid while I run to the store?
What was the guy's name on the Garfield cartoon?
John.
He's John.
He's John.
He's Garfield's owner.
Yes, he is. And then he's got the dog Odie.
Yeah.
That just kind of like is there. And it's an average dog.
Yeah.
He has
I bet
he has 2.5 kids.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yes, that is exactly
he drives a sedan.
Yep. And a wagon.
Yeah.
He drives not the SUV. It's the station wagon with the woody sides. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
And he has a sedan.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets good gas mileage.
It gets really good gas mileage. And he's thinking about upgrading to a hybrid eventually. Yes. So he is average Joe.
But
John, sorry.
They've had some amazing wide receivers. Probably
they have. Absolutely.
We talked about somebody earlier that had Detroit Lions had a good, but I think the Minnesota Vikings in the history of the NFL have had the best wide receivers. I think you're right.
I mean, you've got Carter,
Randy Moss.
Even exactly. And even the recent ones. I mean, Thielen has been a great for what was he, non-drafted or 7th round? I mean, great.
The guy that's in Buffalo now?
Yep. Diggs. Stephon Diggs. And then the young kid they've got now, Justin Jefferson. Yep.
Yeah. And then they drafted one. They drafted another one.
Yes, just now. Yeah.
Yep. So they've had some amazing wide receivers.
They are very smart about it. They're terrible at about trading.
Yeah.
When they make trades, they do phenomenally horrible.
Yes.
But all right. But I do like them, and I think
and the reason Craig is saying that is the Cowboys won how many Super Bowls in the 90s?
In the 90s, 2.
So the Cowboys won three Super Bowls in the 90s.
Yep, 3.
And they won those 3 Super Bowls in the 90s thanks to a trade they made with the Minnesota Vikings. They sent a running back named Herschel Walker to Minnesota, and Minnesota sent them everything
own.
Everything they owned.
Everything, which left them average
they had
for the rest
in the
of their
future,
lives.
all their best players, and they just went on this trail, and the Cowboys went and won Super Bowls.
Big trade in life. So,
But Minnesota has been to the Super Bowl 4 times and lost it all 4 times.
They have, which is almost equivalent to Buffalo. Except Buffalo did it all at once.
So why would you be a Vikings fan, other than if you're a Viking?
I do think...
other than living in a Nordic country.
No, the thing about Vikings fans, I think they're animated. Like, they've got the whole...
Skull!
Yep.
Skull!
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So they got that going for them. So it seems like a fun place to go. They've got that
if you
really
like
cool
winches,
stadium. Yes.
Like the female ones,
and
not
winches,
the ones that you put on the front of your car. But
they also have that really cool stadium. So it seems like lifelike. Like it seems like, but I think if you are, I don't.
An Eskimo? I feel like Eskimos would like the
Eskimos
Vikings.
would definitely be if you live in the cold, yes. And I don't even know why.
But not a cold. Like you can't just live in the cold. Like you can't wear like a North Face coat.
No, you have to wear like
a parka coat.
Yeah.
Like not a parka, wool thing.
Right. Or like some kind of like skin.
Yes.
Like
skin.
Yes. But yeah, so I think if you are also obviously if you're like
Nordic.
Yeah, exactly. Nordic would definitely be it. If you're into fantasy shows like what's that? Game of Thrones, things like that. I think you're going to be a Viking fan. You got a little bit of fantasy in your life, like victorious, like manly,
and they're usually pretty good.
Yeah, no, they're above average.
They're very rarely terrible.
No, they don't, unless they're trading,
right?
And they're terrible in that. But I agree. So that is the Vikings.
Cool.
Well, and I have a couple friends that are Viking fans, but not many.
Lucky me, I get the Bears.
Lucky you, with the beautiful colors.
The Bears,
who had the best song ever written by a football team. But go ahead.
The Super Bowl Shuffle.
Yeah.
So how could you? So they went 15-1 one year. They had an amazing. Everybody.
You know who they lost to?
Dallas Cowboys.
No.
Who? I don't know.
Miami Dolphins.
Oh. Everybody. Ooh, that's interesting.
Week
everybody.
15?
Everybody compares great defenses to the Bears defense. They'll always say the 85 Bears, 85 Bears. So if you hear somebody talk about the 85 Bears, that's a mythological defense that people think was much better than it really was.
That defense was insane. Look at
good.
Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
Dent. Come on.
Okay. And one more. You can probably name one more guy.
I should be able to, yeah.
Who? Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah. But, I mean, he was also offense, too.
Yeah, not really, but yes.
He was.
Can you think of anybody else on that defense?
I probably can if I had time and wasn't
so anyway,
trapped into this
the Bears,
moment.
They somehow, like, black seems like a color you can't mess up, but somehow they did. They made their black.
It's blue.
With tons of
they
ambiguity.
tell you it's blue.
Ambiguity.
It's not black. It's blue, which is really weird because it's not.
It's not, and it's somehow brown and purple at the same time. I don't know. It's ugly, and they're red. Is it red or orange?
It's orange.
Yeah. So
and it's not blue and orange in any way.
Yeah,
it's messed up. Yeah.
The Broncos are blue and orange.
And it's a very boring.
Right, the Denver Broncos are blue and orange.
The Denver Broncos are blue
and
orange.
So hold a picture of the Denver Broncos next to the Chicago Bears, and there's a massive difference.
The New York Mets are blue and orange.
Yeah. They're
not even close.
The New York Knicks are blue and orange.
New York Knicks are blue and orange. Yeah.
So let's go back to the Bears, though. So the Bears
Sunsets are blue and orange.
Are they're just there. They for some reason they get picked up in like 80s culture. Like I feel like they're a very 80s culture team.
They're absolutely
Saturday
80s. They
Night
were the
Live
history
80s.
of 80s. Yes.
They're the 80s.
The
So
Bears.
If you love the 80s, the Bears could be your favorite team. If you don't like quarterbacks, if you hate quarterbacks, if you actually think quarterback is the stupidest position in football, you're a Bears fan. They've never had a good quarterback.
Their quarterback,
Never.
even on that team, was not very good.
And he was blind or whatever. Remember, he had to wear sunglasses all the time because he'd been stabbed in the eye or something weird like that. So, like, they've never had a good quarterback. They're boring. They play. Like, I get playing on grass, but somehow their grass is always dead. It's always
the grass is always dead,
How
and
is
when
it
it's
wrong
alive,
color?
it's like this dark.
It's
It's
the
not
wrong
even
color.
green, right? Exactly. Yeah.
It's like
It's
they have
like
an
playing in Boise.
old-fashioned grass. They're like, oh, I found some grass seeds that my dad had stashed away from 1970. I wonder if these things will grow. Put them in.
Yeah, it's an ugly green.
Oh.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's awful. So
Yeah.
I guess if you like the 80s, if you like all basically that's the only way you like the Bears is if you like the 80s.
Yeah, if you are a person that lives in the past, yeah.
If
That's
you have,
it.
If you have a mustache, maybe you might like.
But the porn stash
only-
mustache.
yes,
Yeah,
only
not
a
not
Ted
like
Lasso
a
mustache.
Correct. Yes.
Then
Yep.
you like the Bears.
Yep, nice and bushy and right up front
Okay.
there. Yeah.
So I'm going to go to a new division now, and I'm going to skip the South for a minute, and let's go to the West.
Ooh.
Head west, young man, and I am
Head
going
west.
to take
You're going
out of
north.
this West team. I am going to take the Seattle Seahawks. I hate that bright green
Horrible.
dot.
But you know what? People like it.
But people suck.
And
I
that's the
hate it.
person. But that's the person that's going
Yes,
to like this team.
If you like,
if you're flashy and
you like
boring.
one, like if you wear clothing and you have
Neon.
like one neon spot on
Yep.
your clothes,
yeah,
Seattle.
they're the ones that wear that
Seahawks are for
sneaker
you.
that's like bright
If
neon green
If-
stripe in it.
if you're an adult and you identify as a baby, also I think you like the Seahawks.
I agree.
Because one of their better players, DK Metcalf,
Has the
his
pinky.
yeah. Instead of wearing a mouth guard like normal people, he has a pacifier that he has, and it's terrible. If you like really old people, their coach is the oldest guy in the NFL. He's so old,
And
he's so energetic. He's that annoying old person that's like,
Right.
"Hey, let's do- I jog every day." You know, that
He's-
you see
who
at
is
the
that-
gym.
Who is that
Danny
exercise guy? Who is that big exercise guy? Remember, he was like 50 and he was still
Yeah.
like Jack LaLanne. No, is it Jack? It doesn't matter.
I
It's
have no
somebody.
idea what you're talking about.
All right, well, never mind.
The guy with the poofy hair? That looked
No.
like Bob Ross, Ross's
no,
little
that
sister?
was Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons. Okay, but he's the guy that you see at the gym that's all in shape and like ready to go and ready to do everything. That's all you can do. I still do 150 push-ups every day.
If you like dark and gloomy.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you love rainy days,
Yeah.
rainy days are your
Yep,
favorite.
rainy days and Mondays always
Seattle's-
pick you up.
Yeah.
You're not Neil Diamond. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is kind of them. Their history is boring. They were in the AFC. They moved to the NFC.
Yeah.
They won a Super Bowl. Didn't win a Super Bowl.
They were terrible forever, and then
Terrible
just
forever,
one
and then
day,
just got good
But
for a
when they
little bit,
won,
and
their
then
fans were like, "We're the best team in
yeah,
the world,"
yeah.
and the Doomsday defense and
Yeah,
blah blah
and-
blah. Not
and
Doomsday. I'm sorry.
Marshawn Lynch is
Yeah.
the Legion of Boom.
You like Skittles? Yes,
Legion
thank you.
of
That's it.
Boom.
Yes, you like Skittles.
They
If
have-
you like Skittles, you're there, but you don't use them when you need them.
They have
Like-
12th man, which I'm
The
like,
12th
why
man
are you
is the-
stealing that from Texas A&M, a college that's had that for 100 years?
Right, and
Like,
then you raise a flag with the 12 on it.
yeah, get
Yeah.
something original. They're just they don't feel real to me. There's nothing about them that feels real. Like they're one of those.
I mean, like they should be the Seagulls,
They're an
not the
imposter.
Seahawks.
They're
Because
an
I don't even
imposter.
like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just feel like they're an imposter. Like they just came in and they're.
I feel
not
like they're
real.
just that fill-in. They're the extra. You know that guy that's in every movie, but you never know his name.
Yes.
And he's
What's his name?
It's got that guy in it.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah.
You know him.
That's the
You'll know him
Seattle
if you see it.
Seahawks.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
are that guy.
They
They're
are
the
the team that
backup crew.
If you made a movie about the NFL, they would be the team you would use because you didn't get
That's
the,
true, right? Because you didn't get the license. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're using. So it's the Seahawks. That's what they. That's what they.
That
feel
makes
like to
sense.
me.
Yeah. All right.
You're up.
It's my turn. I am going to go with the team that I hate probably second most, third most in the NFL, and that would be the 49ers. Because nobody likes the 49ers.
Nope.
I hate the 49ers. Why
Yeah.
do I hate them so much?
Because they beat the Cowboys often.
Always. Always.
Yeah.
Except in the 90s.
Right.
Yeah, that's
and
why.
then they still beat them
And
in
they're
the
back.
90s.
Yeah. And now they're back.
Yeah. And they
Yeah,
had
they're-
the second greatest quarterback of all time,
Yep. And
Joe
the
Montana.
and the third.
Steve
Young.
Young.
Not the third, but close.
Jeff Garcia.
Yes, Jeff Garcia.
They've had some very controversial quarterbacks as well.
They have.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yep. Yeah. No, they actually
Jimmy
have.
Garoppolo.
They have a pretty good history. Like, they're a neat team. They've won some Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm, they have won several Super Bowls.
They've got a decent fan base.
I think their uniform colors are good.
Their uniform colors are good. It's actually a color. It's two colors nobody would. It's not like you and I would sit down and say, "Hey, what are we going to use for our colors for our logo?"
Yeah.
You know, and come up with those two colors. I don't think that would be an option we come up with, but yeah, they do, and they've got their fan base seems to be decent. There's no. It's not like you're going to be afraid to go there to their stadium to watch your team, no matter what. Like,
here's something that needs to be explained about
San
them
Francisco
for our European and non-American followers. 49ers.
Yes. We do need to explain it, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a big gold rush.
Gold rush.
Gold rush.
Just like the color of their pants.
Exactly.
Gold. So the people that went out to mine gold in California, which is where the people had found gold in like the 1849 time period,
Yep.
people rushed out there, and they were called 49ers because they were headed to California to make it rich and to go up into the mountains and pan for gold. And that became a common thing from 1849 somehow until like 1970, 60, when the 49ers became a team. People were still talking about 49ers, I guess.
Still
and
do.
they're like, let's call them the 49ers.
I think some Americans still don't know what 49ers means, which is interesting. But yeah.
And they just call them Niners.
Yeah.
The Niners.
The Niners.
So the 49ers, they've had a long history. I feel like they're a very celebrity type of team.
I agree. Yeah. Well, it's because they're out in California.
Yeah, in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's cold in San Francisco, but it
is.
Yeah, but it's
North
moderate,
California. Everyone considers California.
Yeah, it's moderate temperature. It doesn't get freezing. They still have
It's far away
there.
from everything.
It's a long way from anything.
If you're going
a lot of fog.
If you're going there, you're going there. You're not going to go see. There's some national forests up there and stuff like that, but
their
wine country.
Wine country.
Yeah.
Their stadium is named after Blue Jeans, the Levi's Stadium. Yep. One interesting thing that I think we need to touch on is this year their quarterback in the NFL, they draft the players.
Yes.
They draft players. And the last player drafted in the draft, the very last one in 7 rounds, they never do anything. They usually don't even make the team.
He's the guy who is just there. It's the last pick. And if they don't pick him, he actually makes out better because he can then choose his team.
Right.
But because he's last, he's picked by a team and he has to play for them.
And
so
he gets a name, and they give him an award, and it's called Mr. Irrelevant because he doesn't matter.
Yep.
Like he got drafted, and then he's going to get released here pretty soon. However, Mr. Irrelevant this year last year became the starting quarterback in his rookie season for the San Francisco 49ers and led them all the way to the NFC Championship game. That's pretty incredible.
He got injured and still played.
He did. And his name's Brock, which I really have a hard time with a Brock being good. We're getting all these millennial names now.
We really are. They're really popping up.
We have a Skyler. We have a Brock.
And it's millennial children name.
Yeah.
It's like it seems like their children should be naming them, but they're not old enough to have kids playing. Are they? They can't be. No.
Brock Purdy. No, they're not old enough.
No, because my children are millennials.
Yeah. They're not old enough.
It's weird. All right.
Cool.
So we got them, and then we're on to...
You got one more?
Well, let's go to the Rams.
Okay. This is my second or third least favorite team in the NFL.
Nobody cares for the... I don't think about the Rams enough to hate them. That's the thing about them. We have one good player that came out of the Rams, and he was bagging groceries back years before.
No, there's more than that. So they were the Los Angeles Rams, then they became the St. Louis Rams.
No, there is more than that.
And then they went back and became the Los Angeles Rams again. Los Angeles, St. Louis, Los Angeles. When they were initially the Los Angeles Rams, they had Eric Dickerson, who was a very famous running back, very good, wore weird glasses.
Yep.
But he was very good. Then they moved to St. Louis, and they were terrible. Maybe the worst team in the NFL for a couple years. And a guy who was bagging groceries named Kurt Warner walked on, got a place. The starting quarterback got hurt. Named Trent Green.
He didn't even get to become Mr. Irrelevant. He was just a walk-on.
He was just a walk-on, and he led them to 2 Super Bowls, winning one of them, won the MVP, set all kinds of records, changed football kind of forever.
Became
their offense changed
greatest show on turf.
Became the greatest show on turf.
Yep.
They had 2 amazing wide receivers, an amazing running back, changed everything. Then he went to Arizona, nearly led them to a Super Bowl.
Got there, didn't he?
Yeah, he nearly won the Super Bowl.
Lost to the Steelers,
yeah. So he had a pretty amazing career, and then they won the Super Bowl again recently with Aaron Donald.
Super cool guy. I think I could hang out with him for a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he'd hang out with you, but
no,
you could
I could try to hang out with him.
Follow him.
Yes.
You could follow him around. You could get in anywhere.
I could get him water once in a while, I'm sure, yeah.
Like some of these NFL players, you tried to follow them, you'd get stopped before you got into where they're going. But you could go anywhere Kurt Warner's going, like Big R. You could go to, you could go to you could go to Chili's, those kind of places. But and then they had Aaron Donald, probably one of the best defensive players in the history of the football.
Yeah, I agree.
And they have a coach that everybody thinks is a genius, even though their team was terrible. And
not a lot of I don't know a lot of fans, but I think that's because they
moved 3 times.
But they didn't just make small moves.
No,
they went almost across the country, halfway across the country on these moves. So it's hard for a fan to just go, eh.
Yeah, and then when they left St. Louis, Kansas City started getting good, and so the Missouri people were all like that. So how would you be a Rams fan? Who would be a Rams fan?
Who would be a nomad?
Okay,
would be a Rams fan because they just never really had a home. I would say.
There's not much like the Chargers. There's not too much defining about that team.
No, there's really not. If you and they have the right color, blue and yellow. Like their colors are decent. I like their colors.
Why are they the same colors as the Chargers?
And both in LA.
And they made that one weird logo that incorporated both of them.
Yeah,
it was like they're the Ram Chargers.
Right.
Why are they both named after cars?
Ooh, both Mopar.
So weird. Both Dodge.
Yeah,
Dodge Charger and Dodge Rams.
Mopar, yeah. They should be it should be like Mopar Stadium or Dodge Stadium. Yeah.
Man. But so if you drive a Dodge.
If you drive anything
a
Mopar.
Dodge truck.
Yeah.
Truck.
No, or a car because you got the Charger.
But how are you a Rams fan? That doesn't make you a Rams fan. Well, I could see you saying Rams are my favorite and Chargers are my second favorite team.
Yeah, but you know what though? Anybody in LA, who are you really gonna pick? So if you could be just like, hey, you know what? They're Mopar. So I'm going to like them.
Why do you keep saying Mopar? Like it's like
Mopar is a thing.
I know, but I feel like you're pushing this agenda about it. Like, why don't we just call it Dodge?
They're going to sponsor us after they see this episode.
They're like the first person in the history
now you're fighting
of the world.
And you know what? We just lost our sponsorship.
The first person in the history of the world to say Mopar 4 times in 5 seconds.
Mopar.
It's just bizarre to me. Like I don't get it. Okay, so let's move on. The Cardinals, another team that doesn't really matter. They used to be in the NFC East, and they used to be St. Louis. They used to be St. Louis as well.
Yeah. Yep.
And now they're the Arizona Cardinals. They've done nothing.
And they were the Phoenix Cardinals when they moved there. And then somebody finally realized that, we can't have 2 birds in the same name. So they were like,
but we have Buffalo Bills, so it doesn't matter. Like we have 2 weird, I don't know. So we have the Houston Texans. Like, this is the same thing as Phoenix.
We're not creative enough to change the name. We're just going to keep it.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals
does not live in Arizona.
No, and the Arizona Cardinals are boring. Like, there's no reason to be their fan.
There is nothing intimidating about a Cardinal.
No.
Nothing scares me about a Cardinal. In fact, a Cardinal comes and you're like, oh, there's my ancient grandmother.
Right.
Like, because that's like the Cardinal comes.
I hear you.
It's not intimidating at all.
Yeah. The only time they were ever exciting was when Kurt Warner from the Rams became their quarterback for a little bit. They did have a really good wide receiver for a long time period named Larry Fitzgerald.
They did, and he was good.
He retired. Yeah. They have the smallest quarterback in the NFL. Well, was the smallest.
They had Kurt Warner.
Their current quarterback that got hurt.
Yes,
because he's so tiny.
Kyler Murray,
whose helmet was actually wider than his shoulder pads were, but he was extremely fast. So he looked like one of those video games when you have like the big-headed people with the little bodies.
Yep. Yeah,
he was so fast, but like there's just nothing exciting about him.
We should name him Funko Pop.
He does look like a Funko Pop. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess you'd be a Cardinals fan if. Why would you be a Cardinals fan? I can't think of a single reason.
If you don't have a place in life, you don't fit in anywhere. Like it's Misfit Island kind of thing. Like if you are Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, if you are the Abominable Snowman,
if you like white, I could see.
Yeah.
Even though their jerseys now are black for some reason. Why?
They're
red and white, where they're white and red.
Because of the cardinal.
Maybe if you like looking for cardinals.
In a place where they don't belong.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
So you're a bird searcher.
If you are a misfit, like a cardinal does not belong in Arizona. So you don't feel like you fit in and you're like, you know what, I need a team that I don't fit in. I don't fit in anywhere. Cardinals don't fit into Arizona. I'm a Cardinal fan. I don't know what else. Maybe you'd be a Cardinal fan if you are. I could always picture a Cardinal fan being someone who likes stars, though, for some reason.
Okay.
But maybe just because it's the middle of nowhere, there's a desert, and you're. Like, if I'm in a desert, I'm going to be on my back looking up, dying, just looking at the stars before I die, and looking for the cardinal to come. My grandmother to lead me home.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that just killed the whole mood,
Let's go to the NFC South.
Wow, I thought I got to pick.
No, because I'm the next up.
Oh, we're snake drafting
Yes.
Okay.
NFC South, and I
NFC
get the
South.
first team.
Wow.
And then you get the 2 teams, and then I get the last one. So I'm going to go in the NFC South. I am going to go with the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh, so exciting.
Ugly blue and black.
This is a terrible division also.
Oh, my gosh.
Why is it? I think they need to. They need to play Yahtzee with the teams right now. They need to put all the teams in a cup, shake them up, and throw them out and put them into new divisions because this is terrible. This is probably. I think this might be the worst division in the NFL.
In AFC South,
pretty sure it is.
I'm going to go with AFC South. But if the South
it's
are
gonna
both
be
bad, though. So if
they should have a championship to
what is
see
there to
which
say-
team loses the most, and it'll be a negative championship.
what is there to
and
say about
that
the
one wins?
Carolina Panthers? That they're actually in North Carolina?
Right, that's
And,
about it.
And they're the Carolina Panthers. There's a North and South Carolina in the U.S.
Right, but they're not big enough. They're not a big enough
the
market to hold a
Carolina-
team by themselves, so they have to. It's like New England.
They have to combine together
Yeah.
and be like, hey, let's both.
I mean, New England's not a
we're
state
going
for
50-50.
everyone. That,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So if you really want something and you can't quite afford it, but your
Right.
buddy wants one too, so you're like, hey, how about we buy that together,
Yeah.
and we'll split time with it.
Yeah.
You're a Carolina Panther fan.
If you're a child whose parents are divorced and you have to spend weekends with the other one, you might be a
Right.
Panthers fan.
Yeah.
How about this? No offense to our listeners in Holland, but if you always go out to eat and you say we're going to go Dutch, which in American
exactly.
parlance means
Correct.
you pay for yours and I pay for mine,
Yep.
then you might be a Panthers fan.
I like that. That's a good, So there is reason to be a Panthers fan. You want it,
Yeah.
but you kind of might not be able to get it unless you have.
And their colors aren't.
If you're, they're okay. They're black
okay.
and blue, but it's the wrong blue.
Yeah.
It's
If you're,
just
you know when else you might be? If you're a Steph Curry fan, you might be a Panthers fan because he's a huge Panthers fan and he's always down there beating that Japanese
All right,
cymbal gong.
They don't
And they
really-
say keep pounding. Why do they say keep pounding? Do Panthers pound? They pounce.
They pounce.
but they always say keep pounding.
They do. Yeah. I don't know. All right, let's move on because that whole topic is depressing. I'm gonna pick it up a little bit, and it's not a team that's exciting, but it's down here again. It's north of here still, but Tampa Bay. I think I would be. I could if I lived in Tampa. I would have been a Tampa Bay fan. Like the stadium is really cool.
Yes.
The idea of it is really cool. You got the pirate ship. You are like you're. I mean, you're a Buccaneer. Like you. Yeah. Their colors are freaking phenomenal. Like
pewter?
I really like their colors.
Who has pewter?
Exactly,
That's amazing,
but pewter and red, like they just go so well. So,
even their old creamsicle colors were pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but here's my one thing that I don't like about them.
Why
are they the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Why aren't they the Tampa Buccaneers? That city's not called Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is that Bay area.
That is true, yeah.
And it messed me up as a child because I always thought the city of Tampa was called Tampa Bay when I was little because of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You know, I've really never thought about that.
But it's just the
But yeah,
Bay.
you just go to Tampa. Yeah, and that is the Bay. Yeah. But maybe.
But Green Bay is Green Bay.
Yeah, but I think maybe they brought the Bay in so that the Pirates can get in.
Like we didn't know that?
No, we didn't. I had no idea when I was a kid.
Okay.
I didn't know how many Pirates were down south.
I do like
but we
the
have
Pirates.
apparently a lot. Right
I do like the Pirates. I like a Buccaneer. I like he's like classy and terrifying at the same time.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. He's a guy you can really get behind as your
he's
captain.
Captain Morgan.
Exactly.
He's Captain Morgan.
He's got his foot up on the barrel and he's ready to have a drink with you.
The most interesting man alive should be in all of their commercials. Like
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
And it's Tampa's a good enough town. Like I love cigars. There's a lot of good cigars in Tampa. Like there's a lot to like about it. They've had a couple Super Bowls in different eras, and they were a horrible team for so long back in the 80s.
But you know, when they were a bad team, you felt for them. You really did feel for them. It was something where you were like, you know what? I feel for them. They need my support. Like they were like your little brother. You know, like I don't have a little brother, but if I did, like, and he's not doing so well, I'd be like, hey, here's a few bucks, man. Yeah. Like you felt for him when he was in need.
Yeah.
So
you might be did we cover all the reasons why? If you love rum, you're going to be a Tampa.
Oh, absolutely.
If you smoke cigars, you're going to be a Tampa fan.
No, I think we did.
If you like warm weather, but you don't like going to the cool beaches.
Ships.
Okay, ships, ships. If you like warm weather and going to the beach, but not the good beaches.
Right.
The second best beaches or third best beaches, then you might
like
be at
looking
Tampa.
for treasure.
Yeah.
If you like, if you're one eye blind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then,
if you if you have a patch.
Yep.
Or if you patch your clothing, even. Yeah.
Oh yeah. If your nickname is Patches.
Yes. Any of those reasons.
Yep. All right. So I guess
if you're a kidnapper, if you're a looter.
Yeah. If you're a looter, absolutely.
You might be a Raiders fan if you're a looter.
Oh, that's true. But if you like aggressively, man, that's a
Raiders for looting.
You're gonna, I agree.
Because a Buccaneer is more like he's a swashbuckler. You know,
swashbuckler.
He's not a common Raider. He doesn't pull up beside. He buckle swashes all across the open seas.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the Vatican City Saints.
The Vatican City Saints.
Yeah, they're gonna move.
They should
to the largest country in.
So America fell in love with the New Orleans Saints at one point.
We did.
Why?
Because there was a big hurricane there.
Yep. And then what happened?
And then they started making some moves. They got Drew Brees, which after a hurricane you would think they would not want a breeze, but they got a breeze, and they were super excited about it. And they got Reggie Bush.
Yes.
And both those guys were huge for that city. They
and their
donated. Yep, and their coach Sean Payton, and they all donated into that thing, and people loved them. They were the team itself was homeless for. I mean, they didn't have a stadium anymore. Yeah. So it became.
I think that's a little degrading to homeless people to say the New Orleans Saints were homeless, but I understand what you're saying.
Is it though? Because they then helped the homeless at that point.
Yeah.
Because the stadium became a home for the homeless. So I don't know if it's degrading.
Good point.
It might be upgrading.
Maybe. I just feel like they were homeless by choice, which might be what homeless people are. Let's go on.
All right. So to move on. But, and they've had no history until that point.
Right.
They were just a team that had Peyton Manning's father play for them. That was pretty much what they were known for.
Their fans used to come to the stadium with paper bags on their head and call themselves the Aints.
Yep. I forgot about that.
And draw crying tears on their paper bags.
Yeah.
That's their fans.
Yep.
So I think if you're into jazz music, you're probably a Saints fan.
Definitely, yep.
If you like having a good time partying,
yep.
if you like flashing people, you're probably a Saints
definitely
fan.
Yeah. No.
If you like beads, if you have like a special place in your
which really makes no sense because they're the Saints.
I know. It's crazy.
I'm a Saints fan because I like flashing.
Yeah.
And I like
weird.
Being flashed, so I am a Saint fan.
Yeah. If you're French, you're
maybe we won't move them to the Vatican City yet.
If you're French,
oh yeah, yep.
I think all of France now should be a New Orleans Saints fan.
If you live in France right now, or you are French, or of French descent in some way,
if you look at a fleur-de-lis and you want to, put your hand on your heart for some reason, I don't know. You could.
So there's reason to be a Saints fan.
If you like beignets, you should be a fan.
And croissants.
Well, you'd probably if you're gonna say it like that.
I'm gonna say it.
Cafe au lait. If you love to drink cafe au lait, you're probably a Saints fan. Or a Beta. If you are an Abita beer drinker, you're probably a Saints fan.
Ooh, we should have done a podcast comparing beer.
Maybe we will
teams.
At some point.
All right. So carry on. Your turn.
Who's left in this conference? Oh, the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, exactly. Who's
left?
The
Atlanta Falcons. So the Atlanta Falcons had one interesting thing in their two interesting things in their entire three interesting things in their entire career. First was when Jerry Glanville became their coach and he changed their uniforms to black and white.
And that was awesome.
And it sent shockwaves through a sport that was created for television. And now everyone has color TVs, and this guy's going to make our team black and white instead of the bright red.
Super blah.
But it brought in a bunch of fans.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders showed up about that time too, and then he installed an offense that he called the run and shoot offense. And it was a fast-paced offense. Everything crazy happened. Then we go on a little bit further, and they go to a Super Bowl. You remember this with the Denver Broncos?
Yep.
And half their team got arrested for going to a strip club, and all kinds of shootings happened and a bunch of other things, and they ended up losing the Super Bowl because they got a little too party animal. And then they got a quarterback named Michael Vick, who was the first real – Randall Cunningham was the running quarterback, but this guy brought He was fast. He was electric.
He was super fast. He was actually
And he
running
could throw.
quarterbacks. He was good because he could throw, he could throw outside the pocket. He could even stay in the pocket if he needed to.
Maybe one of the best athletes outside of Bo Jackson
I agree.
to ever come to the NFL.
Yep.
And then he started fighting dogs. And then a video came out.
Well, he didn't fight dogs.
A video came out of him fighting a dog.
Well,
remember that one?
Oh,
He was
yeah, right.
slamming a
Yes,
dog,
yes, yep.
And he ended up going to jail, and a whole bunch of stuff happened and derailed his career and derailed.
It actually tarnished the name of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes, it did. And Michael Vick. And now the Atlanta Falcons have a giant stadium in the middle of Atlanta with a Chick-fil-A that isn't open on Sundays. So when they have games on Sundays, this giant Chick-fil-A inside their stadium sits empty.
Yep.
So that's the Atlanta Falcons. Not a lot of history. I mean, you would
And
like
not a lot of food.
No, but if you might be a Falcons fan if you're a fan of the TV show Atlanta. First of all,
If you like referees, black and white.
oh, if you like referees, you could be a Falcons fan. If you just like red and black in general, like you could be a Falcons fan. If you like the dirty South, like if that's something that you
Grits.
say,
I feel like
grits,
if you eat
yes,
grits,
if you eat grits, you're an Atlanta Falcons fan.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's got to be. There's nobody else that. Yeah,
Grits, not polenta, because polenta you're in New York.
Yeah.
But grits. That's about it. That's about the only reasons, right? If you sweat a lot, you're either a Texans fan or a Falcons fan.
What would make someone from Europe want to be an Atlanta Falcon fan? We can't say there's not a European person that wants to be. There's got to be something, right?
The Weather Channel. Do you like the Weather Channel? Do you TNT, TBS? Oh, rap. If you're into rap music.
If you are into medical diseases, CDC is down there.
Yeah, that's
It'll
true.
give you something else to visit while you're down there.
Right.
Sorry. Go ahead if
And,
you're into
well, rap, because
That
there's
is
a lot
true.
of
Yeah,
rappers
yes,
that
yes, true. Yep.
come from Atlanta.
Okay, so we got those things.
Yeah.
So we've given them something to cheer for. Beautiful. Now where are we? We are moving on
the last
to
division.
Wow, we've
The
done them
NFC
all.
East.
The NFC East. The NFC Beast.
Some people
think
like
it's-
to say it the NFC least, but that's ridiculous because they're really, really
I
good.
think it is actually one of the better divisions in the league.
History-wise and
yeah.
current
I mean, there's a lot
and
going on.
contemporarily.
This is a division where, since 2011 or something like that, there hasn't been a repeating champion in this
Correct.
league. That says something. It's not because they're all poor.
Right.
It's because there's a lot of competition there. So, all right, we'll start. We're going to end with the obvious.
Yes.
So we'll start out. Is it me?
Go for it.
Okay. We're going to start out with we're going to end with
the two.
Yeah, okay. So we'll start out with the Washington, whatever they are now, Commanders.
So did you hear? I have something to say before we get into this.
Yes.
Shockingly, did you know that the Washington Commanders can't trademark that name because it got trademarked already?
I did know that.
So now what are they going to do?
Well, a new owner, and I'm hoping that they go back to something that goes back to
Go ahead.
that goes back to the Native American deal.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they do.
So their team name used to be the Washington
Redskins.
They beautiful color scheme.
Yep.
I would say
Maroon, yellow.
top
Yep,
3
I
in the
agree.
NFL.
Yep.
Like just
And
a
a really
beautiful
cool. Their
color.
logo was
Their
really
logo
cool.
was very cool.
Yeah.
They I get why Redskins is derogatory.
Yep, I do too.
It actually referred to when settlers, I guess you would call them, or colonialists, or whatever you want to term you want to use, would bring in, and they would get paid to kill Native Americans,
bring
and
back
they would
the
bring
skin.
back
Yep.
Redskins. So I get why that is, but I do think that it could be Chiefs. I think that, well, obviously not the Chiefs, but I think they could come up with some
it
sort
could
of
be
Native
something
American
that fits in, right,
thing.
and honors it.
And that was designed by a Native American man.
Right.
Their logo was in the first place, and the Native American community embraced it.
Yep.
I'm Native American.
I know.
It didn't bother me.
Correct.
Like I think it is a beautiful.
We've talked about this over and over again. Yeah.
But I think it's a beautiful logo. So I hope they go back to something like that. But here's the weird thing about the Washington football team, Washington Commanders, ex-Redskins, whatever you want to call them.
Correct.
Where did the pig come in? Do you remember back when those men? So in the 80s
they were
and
the
90s.
Hogs. That was the front line.
Yes,
they were the Hogs.
The guys that blocked were the
Yep.
Hogs. But then a bunch of grown men would show
Yes.
up to football games
Yes.
wearing dresses.
They were the Hogs.
But why did they wear dresses?
I don't know why they wore dresses.
And hog
I
noses.
know. Well, the Hogs were because they were the front line.
Right.
But the dresses make no sense to me, and any grown man wearing a dress scares the crap out of me. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand because they had wigs, they had everything.
Yeah,
and
they
it was,
showed
and
up.
I'm picturing one that was at every game. It
Yes,
was a red.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I remember.
So I don't know where. Now the hog was. I think I'm trying to think. I just sent you something back when this Tuddy
Commander
character,
Tuddy or whatever his name is.
He had something to do with it. But
yeah, so they made a new guy that was their new commander who like is this muscular pig man.
Yes.
That's supposed to be their new logo, and it's terrifying and weird looking. But here's I want to. There's so many things about the Redskins, the Commanders, the football team that I want to talk about. I'm going to go positive first. The best games, the best football memories I have are of them and the Cowboys playing when one of them would be in their dark uniforms, either the Commanders' dark crimson or the Cowboys' dark blue uniforms. When they would, those were some of my favorite games. John Riggins, Joe Theismann, whoever. Like those were some amazing. And
those two
games.
Teams hated each other.
Hated.
And the history of it, just that hatred built up such an excitement for the game, which was one of the reasons they were always on TV and built such a strong viewing of it. So it was really cool. Plus, it was Cowboys and Indians. I mean, how do you get any better than that?
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and they're located in our nation's capital,
correct,
in Washington D.C. Well, not really, but that's the Washington they're named after. But they are one of the most dysfunctional franchises.
They don't know what Washington they're named after, by the way. Remember
I know
that
was part of what I want to talk about. So they're one of the most dysfunctional franchises. They have the worst stadium in the NFL. Some teams, there were teams that were wanting to boycott their stadium. They were so bad. They don't have hot water sometimes in the visiting team showers. It's just.
It is a team that is.
They can't figure out. They just called themselves the football team for 2 years because they couldn't figure out a name.
But they came up with names, but they publicized the name, and people took the websites and everything else that would go with it before.
So they couldn't.
Name the team.
They couldn't get their websites. They can't get it trademarked. All of these things because they're. And then they made some swag.
Yes,
they made.
And this is a great story. And this is what makes them them. This is what makes the Washington Redskins so bad. This is what makes them. The Commanders. This is the history of. This is actually Washington in general. I think.
Yeah, it's
the
history.
Nothing really works in that part of the world. But you go ahead and you tell this story on how it is.
So, in the United States, we have a state called Washington. It's all the way on the west coast, up at the very top, touching Canada. It's way out there. It's where Seattle is. Then we have a place called the Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, Washington. And it is where our nation's capital is. It's surrounded by Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland. And it sits there, and it's really small. That is where the Washington Commanders are located. They created a cup that, with their new logo, Commanders on it, with the state of Washington on the cup. Not only did they create it, they produced it, they printed them, and they had them in their gift shops selling them before somebody pointed out the fact that we don't live in Washington.
Multiple people pointed this out.
We don't live in the state of Washington.
This was done by so many people saying, that's not Washington, D.C., that's the state of Washington. How? How does that get by marketers? How does that get by anything? How does the agency come up to them and be like, here we go, we've got this design for you guys to review, and them not get fired?
Exactly. It was insane. And so, but that's
what happens in Washington.
That is what happens.
DC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is them. But they're a historical team.
So
and I'm thankful that they're part of the NFL.
If you are a person who, then you will be a Washington fan. If you're a person who
loves Thanksgiving.
Okay.
There's something Thanksgiving-y about them.
There really is.
Yeah. If you like pigs.
For some reason, pigmen.
If you're really attracted to pigmen.
And you want to wear a dress around a pig.
And you want to, you like wearing dresses.
You might be a Redskin fan.
Yeah. If you like government.
If you like government, or if you like making decisions that are not sound. Like if you like making decisions that really don't work.
If you enjoy taking command of situations.
Oh, I like that. I see what you did there.
And if you don't use nails to hang pictures, but you use command strips.
Okay. Yep.
You might also be
If you had
Commanders
the
fan.
Commodore 64 when you were growing up, you might be.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone gets that reference. I had a Commodore 64, but it's kind of commandy.
Yeah.
So,
No. Yeah. So that's them.
All right. So now we move on. Is it still me?
Well, I mean, you've already laid out the path that we have to take.
That is true. All right.
So next is the New York Giants.
Correct.
The New York Football Giants.
New York Football Giants. We have to state that because
at one point was the San Francisco Giants in New York? The San Francisco Giants baseball team?
Yeah, they were.
They had to have been.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Giants.
But
New York
still,
Giants.
why?
The New York
it wasn't
Football
Giants.
They are on my bottom 3 teams.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mind them so much.
I
actually kind of cheer for them. So I cheer for the whole division except the other team.
Yeah.
But like, I can't hate them. It's like I can't hate them. It's very hard to hate them. I mean, what have they taken from us, really?
I don't know.
When have they been?
So we've been to Giants games, Giants Cowboy games more than any
times.
other. Yeah.
Yes.
More than any other. It's not the greatest place to tailgate, but it's still fun because we drove there.
Sometimes you get free parking when you pay for it.
Giants fans are very kind to Cowboys fans. Like they're not in your face. They're not mouthy, anything like that. Once again, the New York Football Giants are not in the city of New York. They are actually in New Jersey, and they share the stadium with the Jets. They don't even have their own stadium.
That is pathetic to have to share a stadium. That's like an insult.
Yeah,
I think that's like getting hand-me-downs or having to share your bedroom with your brother.
Right.
Or
a sandwich. Like I would never share a sandwich with somebody.
You want to have my sandwich?
No. Why? You can't eat the whole thing?
Right. Why'd you order it?
Yeah.
You're not a man.
Are you a baby?
So if you're not a man,
yes.
You're probably a Giants fan.
There's nothing exciting. Well, there was exciting. What they're
they
good
had
at.
Excitement.
What they're good at is
and
winning.
Saquon Barkley is exciting.
What they're good at is winning Super Bowls when the Patriots are in the Super Bowl.
Correct.
They're good at beating the Patriots.
They can definitely beat the Patriots, even when the Patriots are undefeated that season and they get to the Super Bowl. These are the guys that are going to knock them out.
They caught a football on top of their helmet,
head.
which is a very, very, very
mediocre
moment.
quarterbacks who somehow win.
Yeah, somehow.
Like nothing exciting about their quarterbacks. I mean, you had Chris Sims.
No, Phil.
Phil Sims. Chris Sims was his son. Played for Tampa, actually. Yeah. Phil Sims. So that's how mediocre he is.
Jeff Hostetler.
Yeah, Jeff Hostetler. Yeah.
Wait, one thing about the Commanders.
Daniel Jones, very average.
Remember when that quarterback for the Commanders ran in and headbutted the wall and knocked himself out?
Oh, yeah. They also have a guy who blew off his fingers.
That's the Giants. Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yes.
And had firecrackers and held on to it too long, and it blew off his fingers.
Yeah, he should have played for the Redskins. He didn't he, in the end?
I don't remember where he went to.
All right, so they had another guy, too, another defensive lineman that played with him, other side. Really good. But they've had some great defense.
Lawrence Taylor.
Who's
arguably the greatest
also a
defensive player in the history of the world, but also a cocaine addict. He did a lot of
whatever. But whatever. All right,
he did a lot of crazy
but
things.
they also have. Michael Strahan. I freaking love that guy.
Yeah,
like I could hang out with him. He's been to space.
Cool.
Yeah.
Allegedly. We don't know that anyone's necessarily been to space, so let's calm down a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to do another podcast on that one sometime.
But yeah, so they're fine. I don't like them at all. I think they're.
I don't love them.
They're never good.
But I like to root for them.
And even when they win, they're not good. Like you're like they're not that good.
They don't win dominantly. They don't just dominate a team.
And I think they have some of the ugliest uniforms. Like I just think it's so ugly.
You know, it's funny. I like red and blue together, but
there's
so many teams that do it. But yeah, you know what? It's their logo is just boring.
Yeah, there's nothing about that team that is. And like I know they have a fan base and a committed fan base.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they have a fan base or a committed fan base.
Oh, I do.
I don't feel like it's like a historical team that people are bleeding blue and red. Like I don't know.
They're not Steelers fans. They're not
No.
Eagle fans.
No.
They're not
Broncos fans. Vikings fans.
Yeah, no,
Bears
you're right.
fans. Packer fans. Chiefs fans. Raider fans. They're
But
just.
they still have good fans. And
No, they have fans that are
they
kind
do.
to you and me when we're cheering for the Cowboys.
Right.
They would high five us when the
Right.
Cowboys are scoring. Like,
not for nothing, though. I mean, Packers, I've been to the Packers, and the biggest insult I got when I was in Green Bay, Cowboys fan.
yeah, but they're kind. But they're Packers fans. They're like diehard Packers
They
fans.
are diehard. They own the team.
Yeah.
Some
and
of them.
so the Giants fans just don't seem like.
No.
Yeah.
I hear you. But they're nice.
Yeah. So why would you
They're
be
nice.
a Giants fan?
Why would you be a Giants fan? If you're
I think if you like New York City, you're probably a Giants fan.
If you are a Big Apple fan, yeah.
Yeah.
If you are
Because if you like New York City, you're going to choose the Giants over the Jets every time, right?
I feel like so back to beer.
Yeah.
I feel like if you are like Budweiser, Miller Lite, that kind of beer drinker,
Yeah.
you're like like a Pilsner or a light lager kind of
Allagash
drinker, you're gonna be a Giants fan.
Yeah.
If you're
So
they're
if we're talking about
they're
European
not a
beers,
brewery type person.
If we're talking about European people, then it would be like if you drink like a Belgian white.
Yeah.
A Belgian white,
Yeah.
Or
but not a craft one. More like, a Beck's drinker would drink it too, though. Would be a fan too. Like I feel like someone who's a Beck's drinker would be a Heineken drinker, would be a Giants fan. Like your commercial brew, person would be a Giants fan.
If you like Hefeweizens.
If you like Hefeweizens, yes, that is actually that's a good.
They're
fit.
a Hefeweizen beer. Yeah, but I think if you like New York City. If there's something in you that you're like, I love New York City.
I love New York.
Giants are your team, not the Jets.
You're not going to pick the Jets, no.
That's for somebody who grew up in Brooklyn, Long Island.
And doesn't understand that green is not a New York color.
So they're like,
nor the color of any jet anywhere that I've ever seen.
So, I think if you love New York and you've always wanted to go there, you're a Giants fan. If you love, like, underdogs, kind of, because they're kind of underdogs.
They are. Like, if you watched Rudy. If you watched Rudy growing up and you were like, you got teary-eyed when he goes on the field and gets carried off, then yeah.
And both their victories over the Patriots were pretty amazing, like underdog moments.
I think weren't they the wild card team that made the yeah. So yeah. All right, so let's move on because I don't know where we are in time, but it looks like we've got time. Wow, we should keep going. All right, so I got a feeling the next two are going to be
we've been on for an hour.
Oh, we have an hour. Yeah, we don't have time. All right, so the Eagles.
What can you say?
If you hate people.
If you hate yourself.
Yeah. If you just want to fight, just to fight.
If you love being in jail.
If you like having court.
If you don't have any money.
Oh, nice. Yeah. If you want to punch someone in the face just because you met them.
If you threw up on yourself.
If you want to throw up on a neighbor.
If you pooped your pants.
Ooh. If you peed after you pooped and you rub it into your legs.
If you caught yourself on fire when you were a little kid and forgot to stop, drop, and roll.
Ooh. If you pooped and then stopped, dropped, and roll.
If you drink tainted water because you like the fish smell.
If you roofie yourself, you will probably be an Eagles fan.
If you drink warm beer after somebody else left it sitting out for a little bit because they drink all of it but this much.
If your best friend spit his chew in a bottle at the bar and you picked it up and chugged it for $1, you're an Eagles fan.
If you pick up cigarette butts out of the urinals, dry them out, and then smoke them.
Ooh, I like that. If you actually take the urinal cake home thinking it's soap and put it in your shower and shower the next day in it.
If you drive your car with your eyes closed. I don't know why. I just feel like Eagles fans drive their cars with their eyes closed.
They do, actually. I've seen them. If you think that you are better than anything else in this entire world, you're an Eagles fan.
If every time your family gets together, you end up in a fist fight and then hug it out at the end, you're probably an Eagles fan.
If your uncle and your mother are both in jail together, you're an Eagles fan.
If your uncle is your mother, you're probably an Eagles fan.
Very true. If your mother is your uncle,
you're probably an Eagles fan then too, yeah.
Yeah. If you got Uncle Mom, you're an Eagles fan. That's pretty much it. Yeah, no, if you like to fight, if you don't like people.
If you got kicked out of school.
If you got kicked, yeah. If the school kicked you.
Santa Claus.
Oh, if you throw batteries at the opposing team. If you throw batteries at Santa Claus.
If you cheer when a player
gets hurt. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, almost paralyzed. Yes. Then you are an Eagles fan. Yeah. If you hate everything that much, you're an Eagles fan.
If you're the opposite of good.
Yes.
If you have a black, wicked heart.
If you don't have a heart.
If you're
if you're the Grinch.
Yeah, I could see.
Yeah. The Grinch is green.
He's of course an Eagles fan.
And by the way, ugly, ugly green.
And he hates Santa Claus.
He does. Oh.
The Grinch is an Eagles fan.
He is an Eagles fan. Oh my gosh, we just came to the conclusion that the Grinch is, and we've just proven it.
If you think that putting string cheese or what's that, spray cheese?
Yes.
On pieces of meat is like some gourmet.
And you call it your own.
And you call it your own. Oh, this is a Philly cheesesteak.
If you argue over Pats and Geno's when they're not the best, you're an Eagles fan.
If you think you invented pretzels.
Yes, soft pretzels.
Oh, guys, try this. No one else has ever done this.
All right, so that's the Eagles. Now, let's go to something a little later. The Cowboys. Oh, I feel better already, don't you?
Yeah.
I feel more loving, more open, more...
Like you just went to church.
I do. I feel like righteous.
Righteous, yeah. Like you've been baptized.
I have been baptized, yes.
But baptized in a pool of IPAs.
Oh, yes. I'm taking a bath in a pool of IPAs. And I've got a tap that comes out where I can pour fresh IPA.
And it's inside of a cave that's warm and cool at the same time.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
And
there's people fanning you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And light music playing.
Yes.
But exactly the music I want.
But in this cave, there's a light. It's sunlight that somehow mystically comes through the ceiling of the cave and just shines on you.
And it's warming and cooling at the same time, like an hot tea poured over ice.
Yes. And there's TVs all across the cave that just show any game you want or anything you want. You want to watch the Cowboys game? It's over here. Oh, what's going on in the Mets game? It's over here.
And the air tastes like
it's
salt,
so good, yes.
but also sweet.
It's that sea salt, and but it's also
like
got
kettle
that sweet,
corn.
yes,
like a kettle corn
exactly,
flavor.
Yes. And if you want kettle corn, it
You
just
have
pops
kettle
up.
corn.
And,
It pops.
It pops, and you just go like this, and it drops in your mouth, and it melts in your mouth.
And it's an IPA flavor.
And every day you get something like filet mignon put in front of you. And it's got that nice buttery sauce, but it's like a non-calorie but better than butter.
And you're not wearing any clothes, but it doesn't matter because there's bubbles all around you.
And you're totally beautiful anyways.
Yeah, and you're extremely attractive to
So if that's the kind of life you want to live, you should be a Cowboys fan.
Absolutely. Like there's no reason not to be there. They win a lot.
All the time.
All the time, really.
They never make bad decisions.
We're frustrated when they don't win the Super Bowl because we're so used to winning Super Bowls, and we just expect that they're going to win Super Bowls.
That they're supposed to.
Yeah, other teams aren't frustrated when they don't win the
they're
Super
like,
Bowl.
there's
like,
always next year.
We made the playoffs, and they're high-fiving. Yeah. And if
we won a game. It's week 13.
And if we lose a game, we're frustrated.
Oh, we're miserable.
Yeah.
I don't even like talking to people.
Yeah. And the color scheme for the Cowboys is
blue and
extremely
silver.
Beautiful, yeah. And they've spread out, so the fandom is spread out that you don't have to be a fan of Texas to like the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
You just
don't
have
to live in Texas.
No, you just have to be a fan of goodness.
Yeah. You don't even have to be a fan. You become goodness.
Yes.
Goodness spews from your pores.
Yeah. If you've done something terrible in your life and you want a change, become a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
And it'll help that change grow inside your life. It's like a seed that's planted inside your your heart.
Yeah.
That is just growing and it's going to produce a tree that is filled with hope and kindness and joy and peace and all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that it's almost like a no-brainer decision.
Yeah.
So, and if you are when you become ultimately a fan of the Cowboys, because deep down everybody really has that in them.
Right.
It's whether or not they nurture that seed. But when they become one, there's a podcast out there for them too.
Yes.
It's called Jonesin for Wins. It's available on 4 Winds Media.
I think that maybe just briefly, we should list the people that would not be a Cowboys fan.
Oh.
Hitler was not a Cowboys fan.
No. Neither was Napoleon.
It's proven that Hitler wasn't a Cowboys fan.
True.
It's absolutely truthful.
Satan hated the Cowboys. That's why there was a hole in the roof of the Cowboys stadium.
So God could look and watch his favorite team
There was
play.
no hole in the ground.
No,
there's no sinkholes in Dallas. No.
I think terrorists probably are.
No, not probably. They are
terrorists
not fans.
are not Cowboys fans.
No, their caves are dark and wet and gloomy.
Yeah.
I feel like
that Lord Resistance Army that makes child soldiers in Africa.
Oh,
that dude's not a Cowboys fan.
Yeah. Yep.
Sex traffickers.
No,
they're not Cowboys fans.
They're not even allowed to be. If they tried to be,
They would be.
They'd just poof blow up.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a violent blow up. It'd be like they just go to ash.
Yeah. No, they would just
Yeah. No, I feel like if you are a mass murderer.
Yeah. No, you're not a.
Yeah.
There's no place for Stalin. No place for him.
No. Marx, no.
Now John Lennon, I think, was a.
Oh, John Lennon. Yeah. No. I mean, imagine if he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a beautiful area to be. But I feel like most people have that inside them, and they just need to nurture it.
They do.
And when they do,
look inside and they'll see a star. Because we're all from stardust anyway. I've heard someone say, and that stardust settles in here and creates a blue star.
Yeah.
And from that blue star
blooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you let it bloom long enough, you'll become a fan of Dak Prescott. One of the greatest personalities in the sport.
You know,
he's just a great man.
That's another person that's not a Cowboys fan is the haters out there.
Yeah.
If you're a hater,
you're not a Cowboys fan.
You're not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
You're an Eagles fan. If you're a hater, you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Immediately.
But still inside there is that chance. You still have that hope that you can become.
Evolve to a higher level of being.
It's going to take a lot of work.
Gandhi,
for
for sure, Cowboys fan.
Gandhi was definitely, no, actually I had a talk with Gandhi once, and he used to talk about.
The earlier Dalai Lama was also a Cowboys fan, but this weird one that has little kids suck his tongue and all that stuff, that dude, not at all.
But I mean, like there's that. But it's a very big utopia there. And I think utopia, I keep saying it, but I think it's because that is, that's how all of us who have experienced
life
it
just gets better once you've decided, okay, the Cowboys are going to be my team.
Don't things open up in your life?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Cowboys fan, and people open doors for you.
Yes.
Yeah. How many times have you gotten alone just because you happen to wear your Cowboys shirt?
Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, every single time. Yeah. I'm a Cowboys fan. Oh, let me give you I was walking up to the airport, and I was wearing a Cowboys thing and a shirt, and somebody that was asking for change actually gave me their change.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? No, this is for you. And they became a Cowboys fan.
I saw that happen to an Eagles fan as well, but it was kind of the opposite.
They kicked him?
They were like, the guy had an Eagles shirt, and the guy was like, oh, it looks like you need this. And he gave them some
And they
change.
took it.
Oh, yeah.
And then they kicked him, so it looked like they mugged him. Yeah. Yeah, it happens
cool.
a lot.
So I hope the NFC, our explanation of the NFC was good. As we get the team matrix out there, that'll be fun for people to play around with. And not all roads lead to the Cowboys,
No, they won't. They won't. But if you're a true good person at heart.
If you're a true believer.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
you. We will soon go over the different positions and the different offense, defense, special teams, and things of that nature. Thank you very much. Thank you again for listening to this Four Winds Media podcast. Please stop by our website at Four Winds Media and check out all of our podcasts. They can be listened to wherever you stream your favorite podcasts. If you'd like to share your thoughts, feel free to put your comments down below and like and subscribe to us. We hope to see you here again soon.